Welcome, everybody, to the Hanferd Files. This one is entitled, Drunk Man Pulls Me into Porta Potty. Alright, here's some background information. This happened during the 4th of July. I was down in Florida for the summer to visit my dad and the few other relatives I have down there. I was 15 at the time. My dad, brother, aunt, her 2 kids, and my grandma all went to my aunt's friends to watch fireworks. My cousin Megan, who was 14, and my friend Naomi, who was 16, and I decided not to go. Instead, we went to the park down the road. They did fireworks out on the lake right there. There was food and dancing, and it just seemed more fun. Plus, we could hopefully find some cute boys to stand by. Smiley face. We left soon after my family left to my aunt's house. Now, keep in mind, we were still on the younger side, so the people that think that the way you dress depends on how males give you attention. We had on shorts that went to our knees and normal t-shirts. Most definitely not asking for any attention from an older guy. We headed over there, $20 to split between the 3 of us. It was summer in Florida. We definitely needed a drink after walking for 20 minutes, so we find the closest food booth and order some sodas. We wanted to get everything we needed quick so we could find a good spot to watch the fireworks. It was a good idea to use the restroom before sitting down. We walked to the back of the park to where they had the porta pots. They were lined up against large, thick palm trees all the way to the back of the park. Behind the row of food trucks secluded. But there were people still around occasionally. I didn't feel unsafe the least bit. I offered to hold our drinks while Megan and Naomi went to use the restroom first. I took the straw of my drink in my mouth and looked around, my gaze focused on the dirt. A few seconds later, I felt a hand touch my shoulder from the back. I jumped and moved to the side to see a man in his later 50s grinning at me. As soon as he opened his mouth, I could tell he was drunk. The speech and the stench of alcohol on his breath. "You're pretty." Thanks. I was extremely uncomfortable and started scooting away, trying to get away, but also not to be too rude at the same time. That was when he reached out and grabbed my arm, pulling me towards him, his hand immediately going over my mouth. I tried screaming, but it was so hard because of the size of his hand. It covered not only my mouth, but pushed my nose to the side. I dropped the drinks, and he opened up the door to the vacant porta potty, stepping inside. He tried pulling me inside, but between him being drunk and me thrashing around, the porta potty being slightly raised off the ground, he started falling to the side. This caused him to release me so that he could catch his balance. I scrambled out of the porta potty, and Megan and Naomi came out at the same time. They saw the fear that was plastered on my face and heard the intoxicated man yelling coming from the porta pots. We immediately ran out into the large crowd of people, losing the man pretty quickly. Hysterically, I explained to them what had happened. We found a police officer who was walking around, patrolling the park. I gave him all the info I could, plus my number, and he assured me that they would do what they could to find him. 2 years later, I haven't heard anything about it. So, old man who tried to pull him into the porta potty, next time, please don't be drunk. Well, that was a quite scary story, and I think he just needed help in the bathroom, and he just grabbed somebody. Unbeknownst to him, it wasn't his daughter. So, this one's entitled POF Weirdo. So I have used POF in the past. This one is by far the most weird I've ever gotten. I lived in an apartment with my friend Molly at the time. We lived on the 4th floor. Molly was on POF and constantly meeting people, and I was a recently single mom, so I was kind of hesitant on meeting people with a young child. I joined POF myself. One of my last posts are around the same time this happened. Some guy named Tyler messaged me, and we started a conversation. Now, I have to say that my friends are racist, but I'm not. They don't express it in the front of them, though. Tyler and I talked about a lot of things. I said I had movies, and he asked me if he could come by and hang out and watch one. I said, okay, and asked that Molly and my neighbor Jesse come over and we all hang out. I don't like meeting people by myself. I've heard too many horror stories. Tyler comes up to my apartment, and I'm making popcorn for us and the kids. We were watching Nightmare Before Christmas. Tyler only stayed for maybe 10 minutes and barely had anything to say other than, "Yeah, this is my house, my friends." I'm a big talker, but not when I'm nervous. Only because I say stupid stuff, so therefore I don't talk at all. After that, I got text from Tyler saying how pretty I was. How we should hang out again. I always text, "Yeah, sometimes." And that was it. My friends Molly and Jesse said he was a big no-no because he was black. I don't care. I kept conversation with him without them knowing, though. I had hooked up with an old friend and forgot about Tyler. I started getting texts like, "Can I see that you're home? I can see that you're home. Want to hang out?" I'd look out my balcony to see if there's random cars sitting around, but couldn't see anything. I started shutting my curtains and dressing in my bedroom. He then showed up at my door. Thank God I had a peephole. I pretended I wasn't home and just let my dog bark like crazy. He eventually left. I started getting other texts like, "I want to touch you and make out with you like crazy. I bet you're a good kisser with all those rings." I have 2 lip rings and a tongue ring. I started ignoring his texts and deleting them. I eventually deleted my POF profile because he kept spamming me with insane messages trying to woo me. It wasn't happening. I then got a message while I was playing a drinking card game with my roommate and friends. It said, "I know you're ignoring my texts. I could see you put your phone down when I text, and it says you've read my message." I then realized I had the bad receipts activated on my activated on my cell phone, so I shut them off. I then also found out you could block a number too. Not only was he texting me and messaging me on POF, but he found my Facebook and constantly calling my cell phone. There was literally 15 calls in one day from him. Fast forward a year later, Molly and I no longer live together. Molly messaged me on Facebook while I was at work, saying that someone named Tyler messaged her, asking if she was the Molly who lived with me. She answered them asking why, and this person said they missed me and were wondering where I went to ask if I wanted to meet up. They also messaged her asking if I still work at the taxi office. I never told this person or anything that I don't know where I work until I know the creep radar is clear. She said he keeps messaging me at least 10 to 15 times a day asking me about you, telling her that my son is a cutie and stuff. I told her just to tell him I either moved out of the province or that I died. She told him that I died a tragic death. I haven't heard anything since. I think Tyler was just trying way too hard to get a lady. He seems very lonely and very misunderstood, but I would admit he is kind of creepy. So from the Hanferd Files, whatever happens on the internet is always kept forever. So if you're watching this, the government and the space aliens and the reptilians already know you're listening to these videos. Well, I gotta go now. My microwave popcorn's done, and I'm hungry. See ya.